And we light this candle with photos. New photos, people. No, they're not Harry and Kate's kid or the first pictures of Northwest. But we finally have photos of Jason Pierre-Paul's injured hand. Now, earlier today, the Daily News published the first known pictures of the hand without the bandages, and they seem to confirm that he lost part of his thumb as well as his index finger in that fireworks accident back on July 4th. As for JPP himself, everything was working well enough to hit social media on Twitter. Quote, "I can't think of the last time my index finger got me a sack." End quote, emoji wink. Whatever. So it appears that Mr. Pierre-Paul continues to push that he feels ready to hit the field. Meanwhile, it's Thursday, and we are still hearing about the Giants' final drive Sunday night in Dallas. Today, offensive coordinator Ben McAdoo spoke for the first time since the loss and took the blame for the decisions down the stretch.
We were running the ball well, and the run blocking unit was running the ball well. Rashad was running it well. So that was definitely a possibility to run the football there. I decided to be aggressive and go for the fake and try to get the one-on-one with the tight end. The thing I failed to do was mention to Eli that if it wasn't open, to eat the football. And that's something that I take responsibility with and I take ownership of. At the same point in time, we need to move on. We need to flush this last game. It's best for the players, it's best for the organization, and it's best for the fans to move forward.
With us to talk all things Giants, Ralph Vacchiano of the Daily News. Now, we heard Ben McAdoo talking about his role in the whole mess on Sunday night. That aside here, Ralph, passing game did not look particularly sharp. How big of a factor is this going to be, especially without Victor Cruz in the lineup?
It's a big issue because when you think about the Giants this season, it's really been all about their passing game. You were hoping that Eli Manning and Odell Beckham and Victor Cruz and Ruben Randle would be this unstoppable force. Without Victor Cruz, this really looked like the Odell Beckham or bust show, and it's been bust. I mean, they couldn't get anything going at all, and that's alarming.
Well, with Beckham in particular then, Ralph, if he's going to get all this extra attention, especially without Cruz on the field, what do the Giants start doing offensively, and how does Beckham handle that?
Well, I tell you what, they got very creative in this game. They ran Beckham out of the backfield. They ran him out of the slot, ran him from outside. They're going to keep trying to find creative ways to use him. Now, all they can hope is that Beckham is good enough to get away from a lot of these double and triple teams and start to become the force he was last year, because help's not on the way. You saw the kind of help they have for him is Preston Parker, and you saw what happened in that game. 3 key third down drops. A lot of people will leave him open and focus more attention on Beckham as they go along.
All right, defensively, JPP, tweeting, Instagramming, all this stuff to let the Giants know that he's ready to go. But, Ralph, in reality, are we going to see him this year?
That's a really good question. I don't think so. It's starting to alarm me that he's a guy that hasn't been able to lift weights. He can't do football activities. And when you saw the pictures in the Daily News of his hand, he looks like a guy who's nowhere near being ready to even resume those things. So I'm skeptical. When you talk to the Giants, they're concerned enough to say they just don't know. They're not going to count on him to play this year. They would love it to happen, even if they get a little bit out of him, but, nobody knows for sure.
Ralph, is there a point that will come this season that the Giants will just say it's not worth continuing to have this story kind of hang over us all year, and they would just move on?
I don't think so, because they sort of hold all the cards here, because they don't have to pay him until he comes back. If he comes and signs his contract early, they can put him on a list where they don't have to pay him at all. So from their perspective, whenever he is ready, they'll bring him back to the lineup. If it's for the last week of the season, great. They get one game out of him. Hopefully for them a playoff run as well. But I don't think they feel distracted by this issue. At some point they may tell him to stop tweeting and Instagramming so it goes away. But from their perspective, he's not there. They know it. If he comes back at all, great. It doesn't matter when.
Terrific insight, Ralph. Thank you.
My pleasure, Chris.